Well, what is going on, guys? It's your boy, Mr. Banks, coming at you live. And today we'll be going over what is a range and how to best trade a range and how to spot it early in the day. But first, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of this educational content I put out on a daily basis to make you a consistent and profitable trader. Now let's get into it, guys. We had a massive move end of the day, but beginning of the day, trading QQQ, this is what we traded today. Well, it was a very nice range, and we caught the bottom, we caught the top, we caught the bottom again for this last move all the way up. And I'm going to show you how to actually trade this range and why I took the trades I took today. Now, guys, these are all trades that were taken live with the group today. We went 5 for 5, including SPY for our last scalp, but 4 for 4 on QQQ, catching the tops and the bottoms. Shout out to the entire group for absolutely printing with us today. But guys, what is a range? So a range is where a stock is going to create pretty much equal lows and equal highs, right? Equal lows here and equal highs. You could see is a nice box range, right? If we were to draw two lines like this, it'd be essentially a rectangle or a box right inside this range. Equal highs, essentially equal lows. Now, when did I spot this? Well, when we came up here for this double top up here, just from experience, from looking at things, I could see more than likely we're going to go create a range or we're going to break out of it, right? We're going to probably go back to the lows or we're going to go back and break out of it, or we're going to bounce and create a new high. And most of the time, guys, in a range, it doesn't range the entire day. At some point, the range will be broken either to the upside or to the downside. And just so happens today, we broke to the upside. And particularly in today, we had this beautiful gap fill to the top where we saw everything was filling the gap, right? All the top holdings of QQQ and SPY today, the entire market, all broke out to the upside, filling these gaps, which QQQ then followed. QQQ was a little laggard today, but he eventually caught up and had that massive move. So again, when we're looking at ranges, guys, we're looking essentially at equal tops, equal lows, creating this back and forth. Now, the first trade we took today was a put right off the bat here. Right off in the morning here, we took this trade down and absolutely printed on it for about 26%. Nice little base hit right here. Now, why did I take this trade right off the bat? Well, one, QQQ was looking pretty weak. But if you looked around the market as well, everything else was looking weak. See the top holdings, Microsoft, weak. Tesla, weak. Amazon, weak, right? Everything else was pretty much selling off and looking weak. So when we know that the top holdings, and we know generally when the entire market is giving that sell, we can also go ahead and follow QQQ, right? Because we have the top holdings are selling off. QQQ is more than likely going to follow. So we took this nice little scalp here in the morning. And then what happened was once we had this nice little liquidity grab underneath the lows, pushed up, created this nice hammer candle for that reversal. Hammer candles are one of my favorite reversal patterns to recognize. So just look that up, hammer candle reversals. So we had a nice hammer candle off of the bottoms, huge wick down to the downside, getting this liquidity grab. Once we were able to hold this pre-market low, nice reversal here, nice bounce off of this pre-market low, creating this low here. It was where we took the call side, right? So everything started bouncing. Again, if I go through these, pretty much almost the same exact chart as QQQ, right? Put in bounce, hammer candle, going for the bounce back up. Except Amazon, everything was now putting in a bottom and pushing back up, right? So we could see that across the market. What is it doing? It's holding. Especially Apple is the leader in SPY and QQQ. It's the most weighted. We didn't even break pre-market lows on Apple. So that was one sign that the market was actually pretty strong once it put in that bottom. So following the leads of the market, following that, we broke back above this pre-market low and held with a nice hammer reversal candle here. we took the calls, right? So we went into the call side. So we were inputs. I came here. We ran into the call side right here. I believe we grabbed almost 40% on those today, right? So we got 40% on those today. Great. Now we took the scalp down. We held, reasoning for why we took that trade right there, right? Whole market was bouncing, putting in this same reversal pattern essentially across the market. Apple didn't even break pre-market lows. Reversal pattern, nice liquidity grab, holding that pre-market low, push up. We're entering calls here now. Now, once we're entering the highs, right, we're riding runners into the highs. I did not take a trade at this point. Did not take a trade at this point. So we got to these highs, and then we ended up selling off, right? We ended up selling off. I did not take a trade here. So the next trade actually wasn't taken until over here. So we came back down, essentially had this FVG, right? Fair value gap, nice little imbalance to fill right here. We came down, we filled it, as you guys can see right here is an imbalance, fair value gap in between these two wicks right here. In this imbalance, we came down, we filled it, and we pushed back up, right? So now we pushed back up, heading towards new highs. So now I didn't take a trade there either, right? I'm still out. I'm still feeling the market out. We already took 2 trades, so no reason to overtrade. There's going to be plenty of more opportunities in the market. I'm just going to let the market play out and see what happens from here. Are we going to break out of highs where I can now take a breakout trade, or what I did was stay patient, wait for the reject, wait for the double top, and at that point is where we took the trade down. So once we came back up here, we double topped, starting to create this range as we talked about, right? We have the bottom, we have these 2 tops. So now we have almost equal tops, creating the top of the range here. Once we started rejecting here, that is where I went ahead and took the puts to the downside for this nice double top. And we started to get weak. Then we bottom out at the bottom here. So this trade right here ended up printing over 90% for us. Pretty simple, double top, reject. If we were going to break out and head higher, we were probably going to do that, but we didn't, right? We double topped, market showing weakness again. So if we came all the way down to almost pre-market low and we're heading all the way back up, more than likely we're going to get a decent sell here. And that is exactly what happened was we had that decent sell in the market, at least down to here. And then we had some continuation all the way back down to the lows, right? So we weren't able to grab any buy side liquidity up here. So more than likely we're going to head back down, grab some more sell side liquidity, which we grabbed right here. So there was 3 trades that was now taken today. Once we came down to these lows, we were looking into a bounce, right? So we were still in the runners, looking into a bounce to this downside right here. Now, again, putting in essentially the same type of pattern. This one would be more of a morning star reversal pattern. So write that down. Go look that up. A morning star reversal pattern happened near the lows here. But another thing to keep in mind is we're putting in a higher low. So even though it's not in a trend, we are still putting in a higher low here, right? Still putting in a higher low. So showing me we can't break through these lows. We're not breaking through, creating a new low. This is showing me strength. So when we came down here, we went ahead and took the calls right here. And this was the last trade on QQQ, which we held runners into this gap fill. That's where I took the last of my profits there, 380%. But again, this ran over 400% to the top. Now, the most important thing is how to trade this. Gave you guys a trade recap of how we took the trades, why we took the trades, but this is probably the most important part when it comes to trading ranges, right? So when we're grabbing bottoms right here, we're going to hold runners, right? We're going to hold runners into these highs, right? Into whenever it rejects. And now once we take the opposite position, right, it is now turning into essentially a hedge position. So once we grab a bottom, We're running runners all the way to the top, right? Because it's in the trend, right? It's trending up. We're going to hold those runners. Afterwards, if we start to see a reject, we can hold the runners because we grabbed the bottom of the range here. We're rejecting. So if we're going into a put play here, into a rejection play here, we can now take this as a hedge and hold these runners. So even if we take a reject and say it only comes down just a little bit, say it's a 10% profit, 15% profit, and we come back up, right? We're taking profits 15%, 20%. Say it were to bounce here and then head higher, that's great because why? We're still in these runners from the bottom. So now we have that hedge play of where we're taking a short from the top. We're taking those profits, putting a stop loss at break even, which is what most should do, or at a level, right? So if this is a level here, we would put our stop loss above this level if it broke above. So the most important thing, guys, is when we're trading ranges, we're obviously trading at the top and the bottom. It is buy the dip, buy the bottom of the range, and is short the top of the range until we finally get a breakout, right? So if we're buying the bounces, we're buying the bottom of the ranges, we can hold runners, and then we can short the tops, right? And then we can buy the bottoms, we can buy the tops, we can buy the bottoms. So let me explain that one more time for you guys, because that might have gotten confusing. We're in the bottom, we're in runners to the top. We're going to take essentially a hedge position. But how we play a range is buying the bottoms, right? We're going to buy the dip, buy the bounces, right? And then short the tops, right? So we're buying the bounces, we're shorting the tops, we're holding runners into each, we're hedging each position down, shorting the top. If we bought the bottom here, we can still be in runners until those runners hit the break even or until we get to the bottom of the range. And then we're going to sell out of the position that we initially took, right? So now we shorted the top here. We're in runners and we're in runners. Now we're buying the bottom here into a new position. We're holding it up. So now until these runners that we bought from the top, or now we bought from the bottom, until we break out or break back down, right? We can hold those runners infinitely until they come back to break even at our stop loss. And then that is how we can catch the major move, right? So we were in buys right here, upper rejecting. Cool. Our runners hit a stop loss. We're now out. I didn't take a bounce here, but we took another short at the double top here. We're in runners and we're in runners. And then I took a hedge position once we caught that double bottom bounce within this range. So now I'm still in runners from this top until this bounce came back up and it broke out, hit my stop loss at break even. But since we're in a bottom right here and we're holding runners, these runners ended up going 380%. So buying the bottom of the range and then shorting the top of the range until it breaks out and holding runners each way, right? So we can buy the bottom, hold the runners, say we reject, put those runners to stop loss to break even, but we're shorting the top. So now we're in a new trade and now we can hold these. And if it bounces from the bottom back up, we'll hold those runners until they hit break even. So now we're buying the bottom, we're shorting the top, and eventually once we get that breakout, whatever trade we're in, since we bought either the bottom or the top and it finally breaks out, those runners you can finally catch for the entire move while also trading the in between. Hope that made a lot of sense. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat, drop them in the comment section. I will be glad to get back to you. But thank you guys for coming out. You guys are here to become better traders. And that is why I do this, to help make you better traders. I was blessed to be able to become a successful daytime trader and live off of this. So I just want to get back to you guys. This is why I have this series. This is why I have the YouTube. So I want to make sure that you guys can become successful traders, right? There's nothing better than being able to wake up, essentially press two buttons and have the freedom to live and do as I please. So love you guys. Thank you guys for coming out. As always, until the next trade recap, my name is Mr. Banks, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a great night. Let's have a great week. Practice good risk management. Have a great week, guys. Believe in all of you. See you guys later.